be silenced.
Okay, so Assalamu alaikum. May peace be upon you all, and good afternoon. I'm so thrilled to see so many faces here, so many ages, so many cultures, everybody here. So when I say that you can assume the horror that I felt when I heard about Bill C-51, it wasn't just my fear. It's the fear that we all have, and that's the reason why we're here today. The bill, though it is Anti-Terrorism Act, it changes its wording, as mentioned previously, from people who will commit to people who may. And that just about puts everybody underneath the radar. That puts Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, Aboriginals, environmental groups, healthcare groups, anybody who doesn't want what the status quo is saying, anybody who wants to bring about a change, anybody who wants to fight for what our rights and freedoms say that are enshrined in our charter, which is being violated. It's going against, it goes against what we want. It goes against what our building blocks of Canada are. And this has happened briefly before. In 1970, where some of you might remember, where Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau put in action the War Measures Act. Just hours after that act was put in place, 3,000 searches, 497 people were detained without due process. They were not given the rights and freedoms that were listed for them. They were held for weeks, and they were all released without any charges because they had done nothing wrong. They were just speculated, and and Pierre Trudeau put it in action because 2 government officials were killed by the FLQ. But many people saw the potential of abusing the War Measures Act, and it was done so. The mayor of Vancouver threatened to use the crisis as an opportunity to run hippies out of town. CBC self-censored its programming and fired 1 journalist for reporting on the FLQ. This is our media. They're being censored to us. If they're being censored, then can you imagine what else is being censored when it's being brought to our attention? The passing of Bill C-51, though it is against terror, will only sow terror in the form of fear and racism in the Canadian citizens. Any group in Canada, including Indigenous organizations, environmental groups, and activists engaged in political dissent, might find themselves targeted on watch lists and the subject of national security surveillance and information sharing based on very vague and opaque standards. The use of this information is subject to abuse and improper sharing. Already, Muslim communities in Canada feel that the new amendments are targeting them as purveyors of terrorist ideas. The implementation of the amendment has tremendous potential for being disproportionately lifted against Muslims. As said so by Harper's statements on mosques in Canada and linking them to terrorist organizations or the ideas of terrorism, which is not true. Other minority groups are at a determinate risk of prejudice, and the Act enables government officials to determine on easier rulings, and every Canadian will lose rights and freedoms that could be difficult or even impossible to reclaim. Canadians deserve an open and robust debate about the bill so that adequate safeguards are included and that the bill supports the Constitution, which is the building block of Canada. If we are afraid that our rights and freedoms are being threatened, then removing these rights and freedoms ourselves creates the very situation that we're so afraid of. Let us not be ruled by fear. We must demand that our elected representatives promote equality and cohesiveness, and so that, because we do live in a multicultural country, and them dividing it does not do anybody justice. Thank you.